So very warm welcome, everyone. So I think we can maybe start from where we left last time. Yeah. So the topic that we are continuing through that little workbook that we have, Psychic Education by Huppes. It was choice and change. That is what we were continuing at the moment. And I think if I'm not wrong, we left somewhere here, somewhere around living within, and then we have to do this stepping back, which I think we have to start stepping back today. Yeah, this was maybe we covered already. Yeah. So stepping back is maybe those of us who have already connected with Mother and Sri Aurobindo, maybe they already know this process of stepping back that Mother talks about. And it's not only mentioned with the Mother, it's a process, when we talk about in Gita, say, for example, of detachment. And detachment is something which all the masters and mystics have talked about. There comes the process of stepping back. So either we call it stepping back or maybe kind of taking a detached stance is one and the same. And Mother has a very detailed process, Mother shares, of stepping back from the outer surface nature, because most of the times we are in the surface nature, which is the egoistic consciousness. My thoughts, my feelings, my stories, my opinions, my ideas. So this is all on the surface. And mostly I am identifying with that. And in stepping back, as if I become another person, so looking at something else. So earlier I was just one with it, entangled, and now I see it from a distance. So in stepping back, the movement is related to always living within, as if I go deep within my being and I see the movements on the surface. And one way of looking at it is also that imagine that there is a ocean, for example, an ocean, and on the surface there are all the litter and the garbage, that may creep up from time to time. But and also the ripples and the waves, they're all on the surface. While we go deeper within the ocean, there is also stillness that we can get in touch with. And from down below, deep in the stillness, when we look up to the surface, we see the movements and the ripples, but we are not that. So we have stepped back from the ripples of intense feelings, thoughts, emotions, stories that repeatedly come back, for example. Stepping back is actively and consciously going within. So I want to go within. There is a willingness there. Otherwise, why would we be able to do it? So there is a want that let me give it a deeper look, whatever issue that I am looking at. Stepping back is actively and consciously going within whenever you find too much living in the surface consciousness. So many a times we don't even realize that we are carried away by the thought and feeling stream and the day-to-day activities of life, too much into that. And that becomes more important, and stepping back or living within takes a secondary importance, or maybe not at all important. And only when we suffer more, then we realize that maybe I'm missing out on something. So in that sense, suffering comes as a signal that mostly suffering arises because I intensely get entangled on the surface. I forget to step back within, and the suffering arises because that's not our true nature. And when we are not living from our true nature, then we suffer. And in that sense, suffering is a blessing. And it's not that we don't have challenges. If we go deeper within and begin to live within, everything will be hunky-dory. Not like that, but we have a larger picture, and there is more calm and more settlement within. And we are not puppeted around by each and every activity happening in the external environment. So there is something by the mother that we have here. I'll just maybe highlight it, and if one of us can read it, it would be really nice. Then we can reflect over it.
May I read, madam? You must always step back into yourself. Learn to go deep within. Step back and you will be safe. Do not lend yourself to superficial forces which move the outside world. If someone is angry with you, do not be caught in the vibrations, but simply step back into yourself and his anger, finding no support or response, will vanish automatically. Always keep your peace, resist all temptation to lose it. Never decide anything without stepping back. Never speak a word without stepping back. Never throw yourself in action without stepping back, mother. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, Mohanji. So I think this is the ideal situation, that never speak a word without stepping back. Now, all of us know that we are not able to be there all the time. And that is completely okay, because we are in process. We are all processing, we are all learning and evolving. So to give ourselves a lot of forgiveness and kindness, being kind to ourselves, that it's okay, I was caught in the wave, but now I realize that I could have done better. So even if it happens in the retrospect, I think that itself is a big progress, that I realize the mistake done, that I could have been better, because this journey of walking on this path is towards perfection, an increasing degree of perfection. And I can never say that, okay, mera ho gaya, I am now proper and fixed. Maybe only others now need to do. So that day will never come. And that's the beauty. So even if there are masters also have their own path. It's not that masters have become solid like stone and they are not progressing and evolving. And that's why the humility, the divine humility, Sri Aurobindo on his interpretations, or not interpretations, commentaries, essays on Gita, he says that after this even greater commentaries will come. That he doesn't say that this is the final commentary that I am giving, and whatever commentaries have come earlier, they were time appropriate, that whatever time was going on, according to that time it suited them. And now I am giving a commentary which is suiting these times that are presently going on. And then there will be other times, then further commentaries on the Gita would be required. So he says that nothing is final. And that's Sri Aurobindo saying that, who is so wide, so expansive, and his, we see no end to his reflections and sharings, no end. And he is saying that this is not the end. So how can I say that this place where I have reached today, that's it? That's the absolute. We cannot say that, because perfection is a never ending journey. So just wanted to share that we will always be making mistakes, but the mistakes will become lower and lesser in degree and intensity. And we will be now able to see them as mistakes. We will not defend them. Earlier we defend our anger, that अरे बनता था मेरा गुस्सा होना, उसने ऐसा किया तो मैं ऐसा कैसे ना करूं. But now we don't stand with our anger. Now we don't stand with our old patterns, and slowly they lose the grip over us. So mother is saying you must always step back into yourself as much as we can, so that slowly the new habit becomes of living within. And the moment I live on the surface, I feel an uneasiness. The moment I act from the surface personality, I feel an uneasiness. Why? Because I was not living from within. So that becomes more natural slowly, but it takes time. Learn to go deep within, step back, and you will be safe. And initially we can do it in little phases, when we are having silent time to ourselves, quiet time to ourselves. We start with those little green patches, and slowly it covers the whole day and night. Do not lend yourself to superficial forces. which move the outside world. If someone is angry with you, do not be caught in his vibrations, but simply step back. Why would I be able to step back? Because since I now realize the futility of my own thoughts and feelings, I would also be able to empathize with the other, that the other person also has gotten swayed in the surface personality, and there is nothing more important that I want to give it to it. It's okay, he will calm down after some time. So you don't give it much attention. It's not that important. Now, the most important thing is our growth, our progress, our settlement within. And in front of that, everything is little. Everything is little. So if I do not react to some anger or whatever movement has happened outside, and I take it very easy, then the other person also becomes easy after some time. We all know anger comes and passes. All of us know that. But if I react with anger or repulsion back, then we know that it leads to further clash, disharmony. So if we can be this light, I think it would be beautiful. And if the anger doesn't receive any support, no reaction is given to the anger, then it vanishes. It has no interest to go on. Always resist temptation to lose your peace. So the peace, my inner settlement is the most prior. Nothing is so prior in front of that. Never decide anything without stepping back. Never speak a word without stepping back. Now, again, it's too much of an ideal, but we don't have to pressurize ourselves. As much as possible, we can start with that. Whenever I become aware of my words, I should be checking with discernment whether they are necessary, whether I should be, they are helpful, I should be speaking them out or not. Never throw yourself in action without stepping back. And we can save a lot of discord and clash if we begin, even one person at home. If one person at home begins on this path, we can save a lot of clashes and discord in the family and wherever we are living. So it's beautiful, and I mean, something which we can just take on our path forever. So any comments or reflections here? Anyone? So these are a few steps, like a worksheet. If you want to maybe take a snapshot, do it, although you have already the complete workbook with you. So these are the steps. The first steps are to want to step back. Now I want to step back. Why? Because I have lived enough not stepping back. I have lived enough on the surface. I've been bearing its brunt, living on the surface, and I want to step back now. I want to live a different life. So first there has to be a want. Then you can make your reasons why I want to step back. And that would make me more convinced. So if I write it down, it will make me more convinced that yes, I now want to step back. That for example, whenever I am in surface consciousness, I easily do something that hurt others. This could be one of the reasons. Other reason could be psychic discovery or living within. Living with the inner presence is the most important aim in my life. So these are just examples which I can give myself, that this is why I want to live within, because it matters to me. And also along with that, also to nurture ourselves in the empty time that we get. We all of us have some time which is allocated to home and the other activities, roti, kapda and makan. And then we have empty time in between periods of quiet, and we are to our own selves. Those times we have to be used in a nice way, not just relaxing in the front of TV and, kind of in this sense, wasting our time. So nurturing ourselves in the time that we have, to learn to know how to use the empty pockets of time. So if I'm standing in a queue or waiting or doing work in the kitchen, can I practice knowingly with the breathing? Can I be awareness knowingly? So those times can be used nicely. And the moment I recognize I'm thinking, to be aware the thinking is going on, staying as awareness. And what happens out of these good time is that when I now engage with world after having holy dips like these, then I am a different person. But if I don't make use of it, then I am the same person, nothing has changed. So to use these empty pockets of time which we have for ourselves, either to read something, maybe Savitri or words of Mother Sri Aurobindo, reflect on them, contemplate over them, meditate over them, anything that appeals to anyone. Yeah, anyone?
Yeah, Monica, so I wanted to share a reflection here. So, like last few days, like I had this chance, like my father was in the hospital, so like all whole day I would sit there. So I had this chance to just, remember this, just being there and like just being aware. And, like, so those few days, and then immediately as I came back home, I tested positive for COVID. Again, I was in isolation. So back to back, almost 15 days, I was aware of this. Okay. Like I was like, okay, if I go for a retreat, if I'm, like practicing Vipassana, then, how will I be? So I was consciously trying to be that. And I would say that the days were easy. But like towards the end, as my isolation was getting over, I was also thinking, ki, oh my God, like I just want to go out and now live my routine life and, like maybe just watch a movie or something. And, when I came out and I tried to do that, I felt like more than half a day I couldn't be that, जो लग रहा था ना कि नहीं now, like I also want to be out and like just enjoy these small things of like your lower nature or just the surface level things and all. So I did engage in like just watching TV and all, but I realized that uh, it wouldn't stay like that. So now like I I look forward more to that silent time only, like otherwise also. But then this like this just time that was forcibly put, like staying by myself and staying in isolation and consciously using that time, that was a very good experience. So I just wanted to share that. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. And I also feel that the more we live deeply, even those activities just like that you mentioned, watching TV or maybe playing with friends or whatever, I think no activity can be called really a kind of a lower activity, because if I am engaged in watching television, for example, imagine how would mother watch television. It's not that mother did not see movies, we in ashram we know that movies were screened for time to time. But even that, there we have a depth with from which we can watch a television, play games, or play sports. So such is the beauty that any activity, the experience that you had in kind of a little retreat, I think that can be carried on, and the surface activities can be given more depth also. Relating with people, for example, interacting with the no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So one leap I would say is that like we have a little puppy in our house, which like earlier before like these 15-20 days, I had felt immense love for this new member, but because she was a little fierce, I used to also feel scared of her. You know, so this relationship just after this thing, I don't know what happened, but it's just that it was so mutual. The moment I came out of isolation, she wouldn't get enough of me and she just wouldn't stop licking me all the time. And my fear absolutely vanished. And now, like, since then, it is like, such a joy time. Like, I just look forward to be with her. So, like, this fear just dissipated. Like, I don't know where it went. I have no idea. It was a beautiful experience.
Beautiful. Yeah. I think mother shares, animals have really a strong, many animals have a very strong psychic presence, mother says. And in one of the lines I was reading yesterday, I think mother says that don't think you human beings are only have psychic presence. There are many animals who have a very strong this psychic, and psychic means love, the aspect of love. So it's very palpable, as you said, in animals also, and beautiful to feel it. Yeah, anyone else, anything?
Hello. Yeah, regarding this watching the movies and all that, one serial I regularly used to watch. Okay, so after that stopped that also. So one day I wanted to watch something, so some comedy. So I told mother, I just really want to watch. I'm going to watch, and I went and watched, and you will not believe, behind on that room there was a calendar of Mother and Sri Aurobindo in the program I watched. And then the next scene, a vehicle came, and it was some Sri Aurobindo school. The name of the school bus, that the name of the school was Sri Aurobindo School, and all that. So I was so happy. Oh, so see, it's not that we don't have to detach from the whole thing. I just told mother, and I just went. And so when I saw the picture of Mother and Sri Aurobindo there, I was really happy. So when we are talking about watching movies and the small things that we do, there also yes, no, you can go watch. I will be there.
Absolutely.
That's just I wanted to share.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. I think mother says that don't ever do anything which you cannot do in front of me. So just like Jayashree ji shared, if I can just make mother my companion. Oh, mother, I'm going to meet a friend. Mother, I'm going to watch a movie. So like that, we can keep mother's presence everywhere, and everything can turn deep into a deep one, deep experience. Because otherwise it's easier to fall prey to the lower tendencies, and how to make sure that I am not falling anymore as much as consciously as I can, that to invoke mother's presence with everything. Mother, I'm going to make tea. Mother, I'm going to, even mother says about the bathroom, you brush your teeth, going, potty or anything, because the divine is anywhere, everywhere. So nothing is to be hidden from the divine, and that gives a holy quality to everything that we do it. Everything. Nothing has to remain hidden from the mother. So that's really very good if mother's presence can be invoked, or those who can't connect with the mother, they can connect with any divine presence, basically, which they have faith in. Yeah. Anyone else? Anything to share? Okay, so I'm going to reshare the screen again. So this was about stepping back, and then we talk about remember and offer. Some of us may be aware of it, remembering and offering, as mother says. And yeah, let's read this and then we can maybe reflect over it. So anyone who would like to go read this?
I'll read, Monica. Give me 2 minutes. Just wear my specs.
Okay.
Remember and
Shall I read?
offer. Oh, am I audible?
Yes, audible, Shweta. Yes.
Yeah. Remember and offer. When you have a little time, whether it is 1 hour or a few minutes, tell yourself, At last, I have some time to concentrate, to collect myself, to relive the purpose of my life, and to offer myself to the true and the eternal. If you took care to do this each time you are not harassed by outer circumstances, you would find out that you were advancing very quickly on the path. Instead of wasting your time in chattering and doing useless things, reading things that lower your consciousness, it is better never to lose an opportunity that is given to you. That is to say, to utilize for the true purpose the unoccupied moment before you, the mother.
Yeah,
Very
thank you.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, I have like personally experienced this, like uh, more so in last 1 year, like, just consciously using your time. And it then becomes a habit because, like I said, like even when you want to watch something, you can't then binge watch. You can't, you also are like totally, seeking to watch something that is meaningful. So even if I'm sitting on the sofa, I will always, switch into, listening to some discourse, and it just, you don't feel satiated by that, and yeah, and like mother says now, like you will see that each time you do this, like you're advancing very quickly on the path. So I just know that last 1 year, it's been a beautiful journey, like so yeah, I can see that the clarity has increased so much.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Yes. Yeah. So I think this is a choice that we make, at every moment we are choosing either to give myself to the newspaper or something which lowers, as mother says, which lowers, gossiping lowers, gossiping about others. Even if we are talking about praising others, even that, if we can reduce to minimum, praising or talking at somebody's back, whether even it's, many a times it's unnecessary dialogue that we engaged in the name of relations, especially in the name of relations and friendships, which can be completely, now we can undo with it. We don't have to do anything with it. And that time can be used. That time can be used to stay as awareness, or read mother's words, or whatever uplifts me and takes me above the surface consciousness. Yeah. And this also gives us a strength, because the moment I get out of this phase and engage with the outer circumstances, this also gives me the strength that I will be behaving or responding in a different manner from my earlier self. So I'll get a chance to be a newer self every time I'm reborn from this state of retreat. It's a retreat, little retreat that is happening. So to make good use of it, as Ashweta was sharing. And we also, I think the more we uh, try to stay quietly with ourselves, we realize how chattery the mind is, and the need to control it. Because try to stay with the, say, 15 breaths consciously, and you will see that the mind jumps in again and again. And one has to consciously make an effort not to give in to the thoughts, especially repeated thoughts, which have no use actually. We just continue thinking about it, and just because it's an old habit. So when we sit with ourselves, we first of all become aware of our monkey mind, the chattery mind, and also the necessity to control it, necessity to master it. Because otherwise we can be just puppeting around by the mind and thoughts, and not being able to use that as a tool, as a powerful tool. While it is a power, mother has called thought and imagination as one of the powers, power of thought, power of imagination. But the way the thought uses us cannot be called as, like, it has power over me. I don't have any power over my thought. So with these utilization of quiet times, I think we can also slowly regain a little mastery over our feelings, thoughts, or all the surface movements. Also developing some, there is so much to learn. There is so much to learn, new languages and um, uh, new instruments, music, writing Savitri, for example, writing maybe Kabir's couplets if you like them. I think so much can be learned. And not because I'm wanting to accumulate like skills or talents, but it's fun to learn. It's a joy to learn. So that also, I think it's a good utilization of time that I also make intimately friends with myself, that if I have empty time, me and myself, and let me make good use of it, maybe draw, or people do mandalas nowadays. Hello, Binaji. And whatever, learning music, playing piano, singing, maybe reading Kabir's bhajans, songs, writing them down, learning Urdu, or any language that fascinates us. So the time can be utilized really well, which we can waste in rumination over the past and futures to come. We usually waste it. Yeah. So anything anyone wants to share here over this quote of the mother, remember and offer? And mother also shares that how to remember. I think most of us may be aware of it already, that she shares that imagine that there is a tendency that is propping up, you see that tendency coming up. Now the moment you become aware of the tendency and you have lived it enough, so you show it to me. You pick it up with the forceps, as you pick it up, with the forceps, and you show it to the mother, that mother, this is the tendency, now it's coming up again, and I don't want to live its dictates. It belongs to you now. So this is how we show light, remember and offer. Yeah. So anyone wants to share anything here? Yes, Sandeep ji.
Thank you, Ma. Yeah, just few things I wanted to share. This is a very powerful tool. This is not just a quote, remember and offer, but I would say it is a powerful tool which will make us conscious of ourselves, the divinity within us. So once Sri Aurobindo also had said in Bangla, actually he has told, what can be done. Someone has questioned like that, so he answered like sthir thaka make daka, means remain calm, call the mother. Right, so it's a beautiful, that's the same thing resonates over here also with remember and offer. Whom to remember? It is definitely not that the problem, not the circumstances, not the people, but actually the divine divinity within us, the mother. We have mother with us, so there is no need to anything, even if the problem frighten us more concretely, but still the same thing, stepping back, remember and offer. And how these are very, very powerful tools, and one must I think we will write it somewhere, and always and I should do it. Why to others I'm saying, including me. So better to write it somewhere and keep remembering that, whether before speaking, before actionizing anything, am I stepping back, am I asking the mother that is this your will, whether this is you, are you willing this, mother? Then probably something will happen. In occult level there are many other forces. They don't want this divine kingdom to be established, okay, and they are just waiting for this right opportune moments when we actually get into some reaction mode or get into some other activity which is against the divine. So these are the tools which will definitely help to mitigate those forces around us, and keep on consciously getting contact with the mother. So these things are very, very important. And time and again it has proved, it is not required a rocket science of kind of thing to understand, little bit deeper. We'll go in our lives also, we'll find it out some point of time this must have helped us. You don't have to be very, very spiritually high also to understand these basic things. So yes, they're very, very powerful tool. Yes, we know mother is there and she is with us, but the more we remember and offer, let us see, I spoke something which is unwanted, right, which is not required that time. The next step, first is stepping back, and if you are not able to step back at that particular time, just remember the mother and offer it. That's it. So that what will happen by this time, gradually it will happen the next time or the next to next time. Some the consciousness in you in you must be awakened. The no, last time I have told mother that I will not do it again, and why again I am not doing it again. So again that step back will be coming into picture in that particular time. So these are all interrelated actually, very nicely one after another. This has been actually kept in this whole series. So very beautiful. That's why I wanted to share. Thank you. Gratitude to the Divine Mother. Thanks, Manoj.
Yeah, thank you. I think the importance cannot be stressed enough, as you really shared that. And as you know, this movie, I think most of you I have shared that movie. If I have not shared with anyone of you, you ping me with your email ID. This movie called Mission Joy on the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu. So in that movie, they are talking about, at one little patch, they talk about forgiveness. And they are talking about that forgiveness is the real strength. When we are able to forgive and forget, that is the real strength. And somebody, I think Desmond Tutu, yeah, he shared that those of us who think that forgiveness is a weakness have not yet tried it. That's what he said. How powerful. Those of us who think that forgiveness is weakness have not yet tried it. So just like that, those of us who think that remember and offer does not have strength have not yet tried it. And it's without our experimentation, only then we become convinced. With our experimentation, we become convinced that yes, this works. Yes, this works. And it's almost like putting ahutis in the fire. Whatever I become conscious of, I give it to the holy fire, the sacred fire, the fire of love, mother herself. And how easier can it become? I think this is the most easiest way mother has given us, being herself this incarnation of love. And so that it's like a key that we have in our hand with all the time, 24/7, that become conscious of it, give it to the mother, become conscious of it, give it to the mother. So really cannot be stressed enough. Almost like a fire of purification, like a continuous purification of our consciousness goes on if we are able to do like that. Yeah. So yeah, it cannot be stressed enough, really. And many elements are very recalcitrant, like they like old habits die hard, ziddi daag nahi jate. Just like that, our old patterns of thoughts and emotions and tendencies, they keep on coming up, keep on, as long as we live. They, some or the other degree, they keep on coming up. And many a times nothing works. We may know many tools, and nothing is working right now. And what more easier tool can we get than to remember the mother and to offer whatever we are facing, and then to forget about it. Once I have offered this to the mother, mother will show the way. So this is really very, very powerful. Yeah. Yeah, anyone wants to add on further?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about, we were talking about stepping back and, how it helps. So I experienced this a few days back when, I had to work, finish some work. And in the afternoon, I opened my laptop and I realized my MS Windows is not working. I mean, there is some problem that has happened. And I know I have classes next day. And I'm doing all sorts of things, but it is not working. And I called the person, the required person who would be aware, and he said, right now I'm in a state where I can't help you. So and then after trying for a few hours, I just stopped, band kiya laptop, and I said, okay, I'll see what will happen, and something will turn out. And I closed and I started cooking, and while cooking I realized that in a usual case I'll really get paranoid of this, and I will I don't know, I would have shouted on that person, no, it's because of you, and you had done this, and now because of this has happened. And maybe I'll get worked up, and then I'll say something to my family members. But I realized that I just kept quiet, and I was silent, and I said, okay, let's see, something will work out. And while cooking, I really felt so happy, and I felt peaceful and calm कि मतलब इतना कुछ है, मुझे पता है कल मैं क्लास ले सकती हूँ या नहीं, लेकिन मैं शांत हूँ और इतना अच्छा लग रहा है वो सोच के कि मैं शांत हूँ. And things worked out by night. My late night things worked out, and I took my class comfortably. But it just happened, and I realized that it is so important to experience this stepping back, and then you realize that it's actually the best thing to do. It's not that I have not got paranoid in one of the situations. Yes, I have. But I now know that yes, this is the solution that I should opt for my own peace, because everything else is just things works and they'll work out. So yeah, I felt so good that day. So just wanted to share that.
Yeah, beautiful. I think beautiful experience. And that's why mother would say progress is joy.
Yeah, I've actually felt that, I really experienced that, and that gave me joy.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for sharing the joy. Yeah. Yes. So moving ahead, now we come to change, a short kind of little patch on change here. And as this path is a constant kind of invitation towards psychic discovery, and all of us are aware that it's a long duration, things take time. Just like Kabir says, dheere dheere re mana, dheere sab kuch hoye, mali siche 100 ghada, ritu aaye phal hoye. So he says that slowly, he says to the sadhak on the path that slowly, with your little baby steps, slowly things will change. Mali siche 100 ghada, ritu aaye phal hoye. So even if the mali may put 100 pots at once, of water to the plant will flower when the right season arrives. We cannot force this process. The only thing we can do is to continue our efforts, little efforts, as all of us were sharing. So this is long period of continuous personal efforts in which you seek to go deeper and deeper into yourself, slowly coming into contact with the psychic qualities. What are the psychic qualities? All of us, I think, know. Goodness of heart, kindness towards oneself and others, compassion, wisdom, purity, detachment. All these are psychic qualities. And all of us crave for these qualities, maybe in others, but we have to first take care of our own selves. At the same time, you are busy with the purification of outer nature. And this is what we were, as Sandeep ji was sharing, remembering and offering. So this is how we purify the outer nature. The outer nature is which is very recalcitrant. Old habits are there, old sanskaras are there, vrittis are there, vikaras are there. So it takes time. So to be kind to ourselves, that okay, take it easy, don't be too forceful on oneself. So we see that we are unceasingly making progress, changing little by little, as one of the examples Shweta shared earlier, Jashi was sharing, and Rakhi just shared her example. Little by little, some change is happening. And because of personal effort, the effort takes a spiritual direction automatically. We start from something little, very superficial, but slowly it takes a spiritual direction by itself. And aspiration becomes more intense. The aspiration to live a purer life, a right life, becomes more intense. And you become ready to place yourself more and more in the hands of the divine. That there is some higher power which is looking after all of this. I'm not alone. You feel the urge to surrender yourself more completely. Slowly you begin to consecrate all that you think, feel, and do. So the act, bhakti, bhakti, action, Gyan Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, all of them, combining them here. In my actions, in my thought, in my speech, in my devotion, everything slowly turns to the divine, to something higher than me. So this is the process of change as it starts. And then slowly, through these countless number of efforts, one day, such a change, these little changes may lead to transformation necessary for a divine life upon earth. That's what Sri Aurobindo has given us, that a life divine is possible right here on this mortal existence, mortal plane. So let us make this happen. And if we will not change the little things in us, how can I make life divine possible on earth? And the mother says that this transformation takes place in stages, in degrees. And first, there is a partial change in consciousness, and later, after countless number of efforts, a true reversal can happen, that now I am feeling uneasy the moment I do something which is not consecrated to the divine. Earlier, I don't feel uneasy at all. Earlier, my whole life is undivine, but I'm not feeling uneasy. But when uneasiness really takes hold of my life, then I become aware, oh my God, my life was not consecrated. I was living so too selfishly in my demands and expectations. So then slowly, little changes come, and then a true reversal happens. That the moment something impure, a ripple of impurity is seen in our being, it is noticed and offered immediately. So that's a true reversal, that you cannot live but in the divine and for the divine. So this is how Mother talks about it, that how this transformation takes place from a partial change to a true reversal. So would someone like to read this one? Yeah, anyone who would like to read?
May I read, madam?
Yes, why not? Yes, Mohanji.
There is a partial change of consciousness which makes you lose all interest in things that you once found desirable. But it is only a change of consciousness and not what we call the transformation. For the transformation is fundamental and absolute. It is not merely a change, but a reversal of consciousness. The being turns inside out as it were and takes a completely different position. In this reversed consciousness, the being stands above life and thinks and deals with them from there. It is at the center of everything and directs its action outwards from there. I repeat, the reversal is sudden. Something opens within you, and all at once you find yourself in a new world. The change may not be final and definite to begin with. It sometimes requires time to settle permanently and become your normal nature. The mother. Thank you, madam.
Yeah, thank you, Mohanji. So we may be given a glimpse, of purity and reversal of consciousness. In the last paragraph, Mother says, I repeat, this reversal is sudden. Suddenly a shift of consciousness as it happens. Something opens within you, and all at once you find yourself in a new world. Now there is a more vigor to live, like a enthusiasm also, not like an aggressive one, but like, you're looking forward to life and your own changes. The change may not be final and definite to begin with, and this may also happen, through our diseases, illnesses, tragedies, near-death experiences. We may get a glimpse of this new life possible, but as Mother shares, that it sometimes requires time to settle permanently. So even if I may have been given a glimpse of a reversal of consciousness, it takes time before it becomes my life. It takes time still, because since the outer nature is very hard, and the old tendencies keep on coming back again and again. So although I have been given a glimpse of a truer life, yet it becomes at times impossible to resist the sway of the outer nature. So it takes time before this reversed consciousness, the new consciousness, living from deeper within and getting mostly living in alignment with the inner presence, it may take time to stabilize. That's what Mother is sharing. It becomes my normal nature then. So purity becomes my normal nature, and whenever an impurity is there, I am able to recognize it. Earlier, impurity was my normal nature. Purity was just like clouds coming by, in between and passing, like little patches of purity coming. I'm being happy with that. And thankfully, that being grateful that they are there, little patches of purity. But now purity takes over. Now purification and purity becomes a way of life, and impurities only one off and on, they show up, and I'm able to recognize it. And then she also here in this paragraph is talking about the partial change and the whole transformation. And transformation is fundamental, she shares. For the transformation is fundamental and absolute. It is not merely a change, but a reversal. Now I cannot live the other way. That's transformation. It's impossible for me to be involved in gossip, for example. That's transformation. Yeah. So this is a little checklist that was given. I thought I'll share it with you, that you can make it from time to time. We can do a check, like 7 days, 15 days, we can do a check. My choices are less and less guided by my senses. Correct or not correct? So it's a self-assessment that I can do every once in a while. I have started making choices guided by, so what is my light that guides my choices? Something new in my life that may be happening is, you can talk about the newer things happening in our life. We can make a list of them. And then something like, earlier I used to do this, earlier I used to behave in such and such manner. Just like Rakhi, I think, shared a beautiful example that earlier I would get upset by something not working according to my opinions, but now I can take it easy. So what? Things will fall into place. So this can be a checklist, which can be a regular checklist, like every 15 days, 10 days, I'm assessing myself. And this is what Mother shares. I think this is the last one today. So Beena ji, you wanted to, I think, read out. So if you can read this out.
Yeah, sure. You see, one has to choose among 2 or 3 or 4 possible decisions and doesn't know which is the right one. Then one must put himself as far as possible in contact with his psychic being and the divine presence in him. Present the problem to this psychic consciousness and ask for true light, the true decision, the one in accordance with the divine will. Try to listen and receive the inspiration. And Mother,
Yeah, thank you.
the choice is yours. Yeah.
So many a times, if we notice, something in me does not want all the things to be in a light. Why? Because there is hidden my own manipulation, my own demands. So I think this itself is a beautiful step, that something in me is opening up now and asking for true light to dawn. That, okay, it doesn't matter, I may be proven wrong, I don't want to be right anymore, but may we be shown the right way. May we be shown the right way. May I be shown the right way. And for that, even if I have to, many a times the ego does not want to be wrong. The ego doesn't want to say sorry. So what, if we have to say sorry, how does it matter? In love, if we have loving relationships, I can say sorry 10,000 number of times. How does it matter in love? But we realize that our relationships lack certain amount of love. And that's why it's hard to put our foot down. So we have to choose. Mother is sharing that one has to choose among 2 or 3 or 4 possible decisions that may be there right in front of me. And I don't know which way to go. I don't know, because a limited mind is full of errors and suspicion and doubts. It has no idea of the larger picture. So through the limited mind, I'm totally confused what to do. So how to proceed, she shares. Then one must put himself as far as possible, how much capacity we can do, in contact with the deeper being, psychic being, divine presence, in how much capacity we can do, present the problem to this psychic consciousness. Okay, this is the issue, and I'm leaving this, I'm offering this issue to you, and you shed the true light. So it's like a talk with the higher self, like Arjun is talking to Krishna, asking for guidance. So my lower self is asking for guidance from the higher self. That I know that you know. The lower self says that I know that you know. You let me know what is the right way, what is the right decision. Ask for true light, the true decision, the one in accordance with the divine will. Try to listen and receive the inspiration. And I think, again, as earlier we were sharing, that if we don't experiment with it, if we don't make it a practice in our own life, then it's hard to know whether it works or not. So to check it out, I have to experiment. As Mother shares, this is the science of living. And in science, what do we do but experiments? Yeah, so after this theme, the theme of choice and change, we will begin surrender. The next theme is surrender. And yeah, today I think we can close here. And if we have more reflections, we can now take up any sharing, anything from anyone.
Just one example, Monica ji, if you allow.
Yes.
Yeah. So I know one of the very relevant example, and I felt like that. So we can relate it to anything we have discussed it today, whether it is stepping back, whether it is remember and offer, choice and change, how the actually change happens. So during Ramayana time again, when Vibhishana was kicked out of his kingdom from Ravan has kicked him out, and he eventually came to stay with the Vanars and joined Ram, Lord Ram here. So though he has come with a full of devotion and all of his sincerity, but he could not resist his demon kind of that attitude. Ultimately, end of the day, he was a demon itself, correct, like Ravana and others. So every night he goes to the jungle, and he has his food, right? So he cannot just eat just like these banners ate, so with this vegetarian foods and all. So he always used to go to the jungle at the night, and do some hunting, and he fed upon that. So once Hanuman had saw it, and other Banar, Sugriv and all, so they came and complained Ram. So say, Lord, what is happening? This guy has come from Lanka, and he is always goes to the jungle, and today he ate a deer. Okay, so Ram just looked at them and told, okay, don't worry, I will take care of it. No, you guys are safe, right? So no, nothing to worry. No, we are safe. No, then don't worry, and I will take care. So again, after few days, after some, again he went to the jungle, and again this banners have followed him, secretly, and he found that this time he ate a rabbit. Okay, and then these guys again came and complained about Ram, the same thing. Ram told that no, don't worry, I will take care. And again next time he went, and this time he ate a bird, and again came back. So these things kept on continued. What then after a few days, when these guys again followed him, so they showed that they saw that he just plucked out and some fruits from that tree, and he ate that, and he came back. Then Hanuman happily came to Ram and told that, see, Lord, now Vibhishan is purified, and how come one demon can eat fruits? So that is quite very extraordinary thing, right? Then Ram explained him. So this is how a person should be. The change should happen. He might have hunted few of the deers and rabbits and birds, but each time his spirit come to me and prayed like, oh God, liberate from me this this asuric pravrittis, right? So this kind of things, you please help me getting rid of. So always remember and offered it to the Ram, and Ram in turn actually that change also happens from inside. It is not an outer change which we are looking for. This change will happen from inside, right? So this is how the gradually he actually becomes changed and completely got rid of this habit. So this is what mother also tells. And the choice also, each and every time she will tell, mother is telling that every time we have a choice, we can either we want to the future which is awaiting us, or else the past, the animal thing we want to go back. So the choice has completely would be ours, but the effort, few days back also we were discussing about the effort. So these things are this personal effort, it will it will be counted, this remember and offer, stepping back, taking the right choice and the right attitude for the divine. So these are some of the efforts which will definitely help us going forward and prepare us for the luminous future, and then only we can be worthy about of that also. So thanks for allowing. That's what I wanted to say. Ma. Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful example, Sandeepji. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah. Thank you. So let me just, before leaving, let me share, Shweta was sharing about her pet. So I'm going to just share a photo, just a second. Yeah, this is the one, this one here. Her name is Shiro, very cute and
Indeed, she's very cute.
yeah, now I think in the beginning she was a little insecure and afraid, because since she was adopted from streets, so may have some memories from there, but now I think it's, and earlier also it was beautiful to interact with her. Yeah, so bundle of joy. Yes, really.
Bundle of joy. Yeah.
We do have a dog with us also, and she is beautiful. I mean,
Yeah.
actually, it's rightly said, huh? Pet at home, they
Yeah.
really transform your
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. So thank you everyone for sharing and being here and
Thank
walking
you,
this
madam.
path together. Thank you Mohanji.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Yeah. Have a good Sunday. Yeah. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.